the time being 7 o'clock, I call to order the Franklin School Committee meeting. Meetings are recorded by Franklin TV and shown on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 29, as well as recorded by Franklin Matters. At the conclusion of our meeting, we will be adjourning to executive session and will not be returning to open meeting. Pledge of Allegiance. So our pledge student tonight is Gavin Warnakula Soria. Gavin's remarkable academic achievements at Franklin High School have earned him the distinction of valedictorian for the class of 2026. Gavin is an exceptionally driven and intellectually curious student whose accomplishments extend far beyond the classroom. He is a humble leader at FHS, serving as captain of the mock trial team, debate team, and president of the National Honor Society. He is also a member of the Math National Honor Society and DECA. In addition, Gavin is an athlete who competed in track and field throughout high school. Gavin has completed 16 advanced placement courses, self-studied for 9 AP courses and exams, and taken a total of 20 AP exams, earning a score of 5 on all but 2. His passion for learning, work ethic, and genuine love of intellectual challenge have distinguished him as one of the most accomplished students at Franklin High School. His innovative spirit was evident as early as his freshman year when he completed an internship with a startup marketing company and created software that was later adopted by the company. More recently, Gavin conducted astrophysics research on supernova reclassification with Yale University doctoral students. Gavin's intelligence is matched by his integrity, compassion, and thoughtful nature, making him not only an outstanding scholar, but an exceptional member of the FHS community. Next year, he will be attending Yale University, where he plans to study physics and philosophy. Gavin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then, as is customary, we'll pause for a moment of silence. Tonight, I'd like to specifically mention Deb Pittman and Eileen Norton as we pause. Deb was an accounts payable clerk who retired earlier this month and then passed away a few days ago, while Eileen Norton was a former Davis Thayer teacher who also passed away recently. Thank you. All right. So routine business, review agenda. Does the agenda look good to everyone? Good. Payment of bills, Callahan?
Taken care of.
Payroll is in order. FHS student reps?
Thank you. My name is Siobhan Dev, and I'm the Vice President of the Class of 2027. Regarding freshmen, they have the Bio MCAS standardized test coming up, as well as sophomores who just completed their English MCAS. With juniors, they are currently in the process of meeting with their guidance counselors about college planning, and earlier this month, they had their junior prom, which was a huge success. Now, seniors had their last day last Friday, and those who were on the project are presenting their projects in this upcoming week. Graduation is scheduled for Friday, June 6th, and seniors are required to come to the practices on the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before, with a rain date of June 5th, sorry. Senior week is coming up with a lot of fun events planned, and May 28th is the middle school reunion for seniors. Regarding the whole school, Senior Awards Night recently happened, giving many seniors scholarships and distinctions for their accomplishments throughout their high school. Elections for class officers are coming up. Recently, the National Honor Society induced its junior and senior members, and AP exam week is over, so that is a huge burden on students' shoulders. Franklin is also hosting the SAT on June 6th. In terms of sports, playoff weeks are beginning now. Good luck to all those teams, and registration for summer strength and conditioning just opened. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee or comments? I'm sure everyone's excited the exams are over. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. We have a full crowd tonight. Welcome to our retirees, our students who will be recognized momentarily. Before we begin, I have 3 announcements. The first is I wanted to provide a brief facilities update regarding the Washington Street Elementary Complex. The Town of Franklin has issued a request for qualifications for an owner project manager service for planned renovations to the Washington Street Elementary School Complex. This is an important early step in the project planning process. The current Washington Street Elementary School Complex opened in 1996, now serves students for K-2 on one side and 3 to 5 on the other. And the building's approximately 148,000 square feet on a 47-acre site. That's right from the description. But ultimately, there are needed renovations as it reaches its life cycle on some of the equipment and materials that are and systems that are in the school. So that will begin in September of 2026, and there wouldn't be any anticipated changes that they could be as early as 2028, but ultimately this is the first step in that process to make sure that we continue to move forward with that. So with the information session that will be held on June 26th, and they're looking to review the proposals by July 9th, and we'll continue to keep the community and the school committee updated on any movement on that. Next, we held our kindergarten visitation day on May 18th. The Lincoln and Washington Street K-2 elementary schools hosted their annual kindergarten visitation, welcoming incoming kindergartners, students, and their families from across the district, and officially began the transition for, are you ready for this? The class of 2039. I know, I felt really old. The event provided families with an overview of key areas, including the screening process, transportation, food service, school safety, health services, and before and after school programming. Families also had the opportunity to learn more about student supports, district expectations, and many resources available to help their students successfully transition to elementary school. In total, across our K-2 schools, we welcomed approximately 300 incoming kindergarten students, 143 at Lincoln, 142 at Washington. During the event, students began with whole group read-alouds and rotated through developmentally appropriate centers, including pre-literacy, pre-math, dramatic play, and OT/self-portrait activities. Students engaged in these activities, including block design, sequencing, and oral retelling stories from pictures, self-portraits that they drew, and exploring a bunch of different types of concepts that occurred during those lessons. Students then ended the visit together with a whole group closing circle featuring If You're Happy and You Know It. At the same time, parents and guardians met with administrators and other members of our school communities to learn more about kindergarten in Franklin Public Schools. And the event reflects the district's continued commitment to creating a welcoming and supporting environment that's family-centered around the transition to Franklin Public Schools. And I want to personally thank our leaders, our administrators, our teachers, support staff, and all of our staff that helped to organize and lead this experience for our newest students and their families. And a special shout out to the kindergarten teachers and our leaders in each of the K-2 buildings for the work to facilitate that. So thank you very much. Final announcement is from Lifelong Learning. And I wanted to provide just a brief update on a few of the programs. We have continued to keep you updated on some of the progress that has been made. First off, the Little Solutions Toddler Program is serving ages 15 to 33 months and is continuing to develop. And the open enrollment period for our staff was held on April 11th. We then opened it up on May 11th to town employees. And now we've moved today and opened up to fill the remaining spots for town residents to fill the open spots that we have. We have approximately 4 students enrolled currently. The pods were developed around a pod of 9 total. So we're there, but opening up to the town will be the next step. This is online, it's on our website, there's more information provided, but ultimately it's an opportunity to enroll students. You can still get an appointment, take a personalized tour, see the facility, and decide if you're interested in that. For the extended day programs, they serve our K-5 students, and the team has secured additional space to separate the kindergarten population, which was the largest group, and this allowed for us to expand kindergarten enrollment, additional opportunities for students in grades 1 and 2 to move off of waiting lists. I know that came up before, it was a public conversation, but to date, 280 students have been placed for next year, with 151 at Lincoln and 129 at Washington. And all the students who were on the wait list as of March 4th have been accommodated in some capacity, and enrollment and waitlist management remains open. So the waitlist is always open throughout the year, but I just wanted to give you a moment in time like we did with transportation. Anyone who signed up from March 4th or earlier has a spot. So if you think about when we first started proposing that, it was in January, so just to give you a sense. And finally, the Little Solutions ECDC Wraparound Care Program at Pond Street currently has 12 students enrolled, which is sufficient to run that program, and the related staffing has been posted. Overall, these updates, once again, reflect the continuous progress we're trying to make to expand childcare options for not only our staff, but our families that live in town. And we're appreciative of Director Patty Gay and her team and their efforts to lead these programs. This concludes my announcements. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? No?
Yep. So, Superintendent Giguere, 300 kindergartners, how does that match our projections? Above, lower?
It's slightly higher at Washington currently. I don't remember at Lincoln if it's on track, but I believe it's within those ranges. So it is spiking higher at our Washington Street Elementary School. It's a good question.
Okay.
And we're in the midst of discussing that internally like we do every year for enrollment to try to decide what decisions we need to make to move forward.
And I'm just trying to think back to the McKinsey report. I know that we've talked about declining enrollment and it kind of ramps up. Are we seeing the beginning phases of that? I don't know how this correlates to that.
What the McKibben report showed was we would stabilize at the elementary level for a period of time. You continue to see some decline as those smaller groups went through high school. So we anticipate the high school will decline slightly, but ultimately the elementary is not projected to decline any further, but sort of stabilize out. What we're seeing is in pockets like this, right now at kindergarten, this is higher than we thought it would be. So that's something that we have to adjust for and then relook. And it's also enrollment can change between now and the fall. We experienced it. We have some historical data that Principal Wasik has tracked from last summer into the school year. So we're paying attention to those numbers, but ultimately we will have to make some decisions to make sure that we're properly staffed for the next school year with regard to the number of students that we have to educate.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then the other one, I already mentioned it. Do we have any updates on school bus registration?
I provided a transportation update last time. I don't have one, but I can provide one in writing to you if you want after the meeting.
Awesome.
Just with the updated numbers of where we're at, I can do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great news on the wraparound care. Do we have any idea what the remaining wait lists are for the Solutions Program, K through 5?
I don't have them in front of me, but I can get them to you.
I know that they were minimal before, so they were able to fill those positions.
They were.
Testing.
I think it's a moving target because it's always open, but what we can do is pick a moment in time and try to figure out. But I do know that they cleared a tremendous amount of the wait list by making that shift with K and 1 to 2. So thank you to our principals who worked with Solutions to figure out how to allocate space within the buildings to make that expansion happen.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Just one quick question on the facilities report. I was about to ask you this meeting, like, can we get some updates on every meeting from the facility side? So thanks for adding that. Just one question about Washington upgrades, right? So you said June 26th to July 9th, we will finalize all the list of upgrades or I don't want to cut you off. I want to finish your question. No, I just wanted to know, is that the right timeline where we're looking at June 26th to July 9th? Are we going to list down all the facilities improvement at Washington?
No, it's a very good question. I'm glad you asked that because someone else might have the same understanding. That's to secure the owner, the OPM, the project manager, which you need for certain, any type of facilities job that's large in scale, you need an OPM. So ultimately, that's just to get the person, the qualified person, to help us manage a renovation or an upgrade project of that scope and scale. So it's just to get the company assigned. And that's the only thing that date is. It's not connected to exactly every piece of the plan and what would be done, because that's going to take some time to work through.
The OPM will be able to provide that.
That's one of their responsibilities.
I'm just trying to understand if
No, it's a good question.
so that we had listened to a lot of improvements or facility repairs that are needed at Washington.
Yep.
So I was trying to see if we can get those reports during that time. So I think we will get it after we identify a person and after they went through the process of collecting.
Part of their
repairs.
work is to
Yeah.
actually do the assessment of all the mechanicals, the facility, meet with the team there
Yeah.
as well. So yes, that's part of that process, but selecting the professional first is then the first step. Yeah.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Ruth Ann, who's online, I believe has a question or comment.
Yeah, just real quick. Thanks for the information. Everybody asked the questions I needed. I just wanted to commend Kevin. If he's still in the room, I don't know if he took off and has things to do, but I was able to get to the, because most of you were at the budget hearings, I was able to sneak over and go to senior night. So great job to Maria and the team over there. And it was just, it's just astonishing. Just when you slow down and you see those accomplishments and the self-direction and just immersing himself in the professional world the way that he's done. Just bravo. It's just so remarkable. So I can't stop gushing about it. So congratulations.
Thanks for coming.
And just a couple of things with the school bus transportation. Is for families, can they still register? Is that still open?
Yes, the window is still open to register, yes.
Perfect. I think June 18th.
June 18th.
And then for families maybe that are would normally receive like free transportation, do they still have to go and register even though they're
Yes.
Perfect.
They still need to, yes.
Excellent. And if families don't register by June 18th,
They would be put on a wait list, and then there's no guarantee that we would have a bus beyond that. We work for a wait, just like we have, but that process has certainly been communicated differently and tightened up. And we changed the system so that people could self-check, are they registered, just to make things easier. So yeah, in order for us to plan appropriately, we need to know how many people are registered for a bus, and then they need to do that.
okay, fantastic. Yeah, so for folks at home, yeah, June 18th. It's I know Colin sent out an email to a lot of everybody through the Link Connect app. So please go take a look at it, and if you're considering registering before the June 18th cutoff. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dave. All right. So we're moving on to guest presentations. So starting off with the first one, it's the Seal of Biliteracy recognition.
Okay, so continuing with the theme of student recognition, we are going to invite up our Director of World Languages, and it's Ms. Laura Evans. She'll come up to the mic. So basically, Seal of Biliteracy, I'll just give an elevator, and then Laura can dig into the details. We'll do the dance.
Sure.
But basically, it's an award given to school districts on behalf of the state that recognizes students who've studied and acquired a high level of proficiency in 2 or more languages during their high school and as they graduate high school. So with that said, I'll kick it over to you, Laura, to share more.
I'm going to say a little bit more.
I would love
That's
that.
okay.
I would love
I'll
it.
make it quick though. Thank you so much for having me tonight. This is one of my favorite nights because we get to recognize all of our world language scholars. The students here have dedicated themselves to world language study, whether that be through their schooling or through learning a language at home. So we're thrilled to be able to recognize you all tonight. And I'd like to share a little bit of background about the Seal of Biliteracy for any of our committee members or any of our viewers at home that might not know about what the Seal of Biliteracy is. Mr. Giguere did introduce it quite well, so forgive me if I repeat a little bit. But the Seal of Biliteracy is a distinction awarded by our Department of Education for students who have demonstrated high levels of proficiency in English and at least one other non-English language. And that's by the time they graduate from high school. It's important to note that earning this recognition is an extraordinary accomplishment. It reflects years of dedication, perseverance, intellectual curiosity, and cultural understanding. The seal becomes a permanent part of the student's high school transcript, and it serves as an official certification of biliteracy, which is a skill that is increasingly valuable in our interconnected world, and one that students can proudly carry with them through their academic, professional, and personal lives. What makes this even more meaningful is that the seal is recognized nationwide, In Massachusetts alone, numerous public colleges and universities recognize the seal by offering either credit for prior learning or advanced placement opportunities to students who earn it. So over the past 5 years, we've participated proudly in the Seal of Biliteracy program, and we've provided our students with the opportunity to demonstrate proficiency in an incredibly diverse range of languages, and I'm going to name them. So we've earned the seal, students have earned the seal in Spanish, French, Portuguese, German, Latin, Mandarin Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Farsi, Tamil, Telugu, Hebrew, Hindi, Arabic, Malayalam, Hindi, Russian, and Uzbek. It's incredible. At this time, 71 of our Franklin students have successfully earned the Massachusetts State Seal of Biliteracy. This is an achievement that speaks not only to the talent and commitment of our students, but also to the richness and diversity of our school community. So tonight, tonight, we're especially proud to recognize this year's recipients, 17 exceptional world language scholars who have earned the Seal of Biliteracy. Their hard work, dedication, and accomplishments exemplify the very best of global citizenship, cultural understanding, and academic excellence. So not everybody could make it tonight, but we're still going to name everybody's names just to recognize them. So students, when you hear your name, if you could come up. Madame Pichello is here, and she's going to help me hand out a certificate and a nice little prize for you.
Mrs. Evans, can I add one more correction?
Of course.
After they receive, could you walk around and just stand here to hide me from the crowd? No, so that we can take a photo after with all of you. So if it would be okay, just part of it, just walk over towards me.
Okay. All right, so our Seal of Biliteracy recipients, we have Saida Ablad for Uzbek. Roman Celestin, Spanish. Jack Potty for German and Spanish. Victoria Corbett Lim for French. Ethan Downs for German. Kayla Gonzalez, Spanish. Liam Nolan Hayun, Hebrew. Liana Macio, French. Daniel Oliveira for Portuguese and Spanish. Emily O'Brien Lemus, Latin. Adam Peng, Mandarin Chinese. Beatriz Santana, Portuguese. Kena Singh, Hindi. So in addition to earning the Seal of Biliteracy, there are 4 students who earned the Seal of Biliteracy with distinction. And that means it's a recognition for an even higher level of demonstrated proficiency in both English and their non-English language. So Sean Artiga, Spanish with distinction. Adriana Castro Rivera, Spanish with distinction. Ratika Gandla, Spanish with distinction. And Enrique Valdez, Spanish with distinction. everybody. You've worked so hard, and we're so proud of you guys. Excellent job.
We'll do this quick. We've got pretty efficient with this. If you all could move towards the center. We're going to have the school committee come around, or, yeah, come around. You can have some people pepper in the front, and then Mr. Sherlock and Dr. Rogers take photos, okay?
Get it nice and tight.
We'll put this on the website. So you guys will go to the website.
We're gonna have to pretend like we like each other and like maybe some people can scooch forward.
Some people in the front.
Couple of rows, all the people in the back. You can step out of the back. Some people step up in the front row.
Daniel, Roman.
Gonna say Ratika, you wanna go to the front row?
Yeah, Reese is in there.
Here we go.
Okay, yours is wrong.
Can you get them all?
We'll see.
No. All right, do me a favor. You come here. Come forward. Yep. Yep. And do a couple more. But then you can step forward. I'm just doing like height here. Yeah. Get them all?
Close, yes.
Close-ish.
Closest. So we should be, all of your heads should be able to see the camera. And thereby we can go, ready, 1, 2, 3, smile, smile, smile.
Okay, one more. One more. But it has to be like cropped. But yeah.
Thank you.
Right now.
Thank you.
Thanks, we all did.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. All right. Miss you, Daddy.
It's good practice for retirement. Okay. All right. It's a bit of a variety show. I'm very excited. I look forward to this meeting every year for the reasons of just being able to honor our retirees. I think when I look around the room, I personally have felt just a bit of gratitude and appreciation as I look around, and having worked in Franklin for the time I've been here and looking around at all of you who've dedicated longer than I have and just have shaped countless lives. And your dedication to Franklin has just not gone unnoticed. Tonight, your leaders of your schools have prepared some remarks to share about each of you individually, but I wanted to just set the stage for that by saying that on behalf of the Franklin Public Schools, we appreciate all of you for your dedicated service and for choosing to work in Franklin and really work with our students. And on a personal level, some of you work with my own children, and it meant the world to me. And I just would say that for many people in the crowd tonight. So without further ado, what we'll do, the plan will be is we have a list, so you don't know where you are on this list. What we'll do is each principal has the write-up. We try to organize it by school so the same principal could stay at the microphone. We'll ask that the principals and leaders of their departments come up to the mic. They will call a name. You would come up and stand with them, and then once they read, well, I don't know when I'll do it, but I'll hand you this. We put together some certificates of retirement for each of you. Also, Donna Grady, on behalf of the MTA and FEA, have put together a certificate as well to honor you for your work as well. And then we included a pin. I'm modeling it tonight. Hot off the press. These you can't buy these anywhere. You only get them if you're retired for now. And ultimately, there's a pin just to remember us by and be able to wear probably when you have the right outfit on. Okay, so with that said, that'll be the process, and once again, just thank you very much, and thank you for all the families that came tonight to be here with their people they care about, and colleagues that are working tomorrow morning and will work next year, but have been here tonight to help celebrate other colleagues. So thank you very much, and we will begin, okay? All right, so Jean Mulati, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everyone. We have 2 staff members from the business office that we'd like to recognize. First one is Debbie Pittman. Debbie Pittman dedicated more than 30 years to the Franklin Public School community, serving as the accounts payable clerk. But to those who had the privilege of working alongside her, Debbie was so much more than her role. She was a source of kindness, support, and grace. Even throughout her long and courageous battle with cancer, Debbie carried herself with remarkable strength and dignity. Her resilience and dedication reflected the incredible person she was. From the moment I joined the team in 2023, Debbie welcomed me with warmth and generosity. She was always willing to help, offer guidance, and support those around her. That selfless spirit made her deeply respected and loved by so many colleagues and friends. While her passing leaves a tremendous void, we are grateful for the many years we were fortunate to know and work with her. Debbie will be dearly missed, fondly remembered, and forever appreciated. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family, friends, and all who loved her.
We will send this to Deb's sister, who was very close to her, or her son, I'm sorry, and she had 30 years of service for Franklin Public Schools. Okay.
Next, for also the central office, our Assistant School Business Administrator, Debbie Irvine. Debbie Irvine joined Franklin Public Schools at a pivotal time during a period of significant transition and change within the district. From the moment she arrived, Deb brought a steady presence, unwavering support, and a collaborative spirit to the business office. She played an instrumental role in supporting the department and assisting with the implementation of many and much needed changes. Her willingness to help wherever needed made a lasting impact on our team and the work we accomplished together. We wish her nothing but happiness and success in her retirement.
The Student Services Office is honoring 2 of our retirees tonight, and the first one is Jennifer Clifford, one of our special ed van drivers. Jen Clifford joined us in 2015 and has been so much more than a special ed van driver. For the last decade, she's been a steady, kind presence for our students and their families. Jen has a gift for making her van feel a safe and welcoming space, whether she's navigating a hectic morning or simply offering a bit of extra reassurance during a routine change. She always prioritizes her students' individual needs. That kind of dedication and consistency is rare, and it's meant the world to the parents and staff who work with her. Jen, we thank you for your incredible service and for being a true professional. We hope your retirement is full of the same peace and joy you brought to your students. I would also like to honor Don Banks, another special ed van driver. He has been driving for our special education department since 2010. 16 years is a long time, but for Don, it was never just a job. It was a commitment to the families who relied upon him every single day. We all know that special education transportation isn't just about driving, but it's the person behind the wheel. Don understood that perfectly. Every morning, he was the first friendly face his students saw, and every afternoon, he made sure he got them home feeling safe and cared for. His patience and genuine bonds he built with the students and colleagues have left a lasting mark on the district. Don, we will miss you, your dependability and your kindness. We wish you a retirement that's as wonderful and relaxing as the care you've given our students these last few years.
Ken Strelazzi, Director of Human Resources, and I have the honor of talking a little bit about Sue Childers, who is behind the pole. Thank you. In fact, now that I look at this list, I believe Sue actually helped put this list together.
She knew before I did.
Yeah, that's right. Sue has been the face and voice of the Human Resources Department for the past 27 years. What began as a temporary position grew into a remarkable career defined by dedication and service. When I joined Franklin Public Schools in 2023, it didn't take long to realize that Sue was a wealth of knowledge. Beyond her deep institutional knowledge, she quickly became my go-to resource for all things Franklin, as I just recently moved to the area. Sue is always the first to lend a hand. The phrase, "that's not my job," simply isn't part of her vocabulary. She has truly become the person everyone turns to. Even when she doesn't have an immediate answer, she knows exactly where to find it. Over the past 2 years, the HR department has moved twice, and through each transition, Sue remained positive, adaptable, and steady. To say that she will be missed is an understatement. We wish her all the best in the next chapter of her life.
Next up, do you want to read that one?
Sure. Okay. All right. The next honoree is Jan Turner. Jan Turner joined Franklin Public Schools in September of 2018 as a technology reporting specialist. Over 7+ years, she became the district's data rock star. Yes, any of us who work with Jan know that. Ensuring that all state certification deadlines were met with precision. Jan mastered complex systems like SIMS, EPIMS, and SSDR. She introduced Google Data Studio for visual decision making. Her analytical approach significantly improved the district's reporting accuracy. A dedicated team player, Jan supported staff at all levels. She leaves a legacy of over 110 direction documents and a 33-page manual to guide her successor. No surprise. A Franklin resident for over 40 years, Jan's commitment was deeply personal. We are grateful for the standard of excellence she established, leaving the school district well positioned to continue to advance in all areas of data analysis and reporting. Jan.
All right, next up, Mrs. Morrison.
That's where I'm starting.
Yes.
Correct, okay.
Yep.
I'm here to honor Marianne Zogby. After many years of dedicated service to Franklin Public Schools, Marianne retires as an exceptional educator whose impact spans classrooms, grade levels, and roles. In 2009, Marianne was hired as a middle school math teacher, transitioned to digital literacy integrationist, and ending her career as an elementary technology teacher. Throughout this time, she's built relationships with students and colleagues. She created inclusive, engaging learning environments where all students could thrive, skillfully meeting learners where they were by scaffolding instruction, fostering curiosity, and celebrating student growth. A reflective practitioner and lifelong learner, Marianne embraced change and evolving student needs with creativity and care. She was also a valued colleague as she's organized, thoughtful, and collaborative. She consistently supported others and contributed to problem solving across many teams. Her deep commitment to educating the whole child and her passion for teaching leave a lasting legacy in the Franklin community, and she'll be greatly missed. Thank you.
Next we have ECDC.
Good evening. As we recognize Linda Canoyer on her retirement, we celebrate 13 years of dedicated service to the students, families, and staff of the Franklin Public Schools. Linda has been the consummate professional and an exemplary educator in every sense of the word. Her unwavering commitment to inclusionary practices ensured that all students felt valued, supported, and capable of success. Through her creativity in her speech and language sessions, she skillfully connected speech and language to classroom curriculum themes, making learning meaningful, engaging, and accessible for all children. Linda's colleagues deeply appreciate her wonderful sense of humor, exceptional knowledge, and remarkable ability to recognize and nurture the strengths in every child she works with. Her impact on the Franklin community will be lasting, and she will be greatly missed. Thank you, Linda. Next up from the ECDC, Laura Minacchio, ESP. As we recognize Laura Minacchio on her retirement, we thank her for 14 years of dedicated service to the students and staff of the Franklin Public Schools. Throughout her time at the ECDC, Laura has been a consistent presence in a variety of preschool classrooms, supporting young learners with a wide range of needs. Her work has helped create supportive and caring learning environments where students could grow and develop important skills. Laura's commitment to assisting both students and staff over the years has been appreciated by many within the school community, and we wish her all the best in her retirement. Thank you, Laura.
Middle school team, 24.
We got the whole band back together.
After more than 20 years of dedicated service to the Franklin Public Schools, Lisa Vetrano retires as a beloved educator whose passion, compassion, and collegiality have touched countless students, families, and colleagues. I had the privilege of teaching all three of the wonderful Vetrano children early in my career, and it was clear then that the Vetrano family is truly one of a kind. Lisa brought warmth, professionalism, and an unwavering commitment to her students each and every day. Her positive impact on the children of Franklin and on the colleagues who worked alongside of her will be felt for years to come. We thank you for your contributions and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
She was my first teammate when I taught my first year in Franklin.
Next up is Lisa Winrick. Today we celebrate an extraordinary educator and colleague, Lisa Winrick, as she retires after 26 years of dedicated service in special education in Franklin Public Schools. Throughout her career, Lisa has supported middle school students during some of the most important years of their development. She understood that special education is about more than academics. It's about seeing the whole child, building confidence, and helping students feel connected and supported. Known for her consistency, thoughtfulness, and attention to detail, Lisa always approached her work with care. She valued teamwork and built strong partnerships with students, families, and colleagues throughout her career. Lisa's impact lives on in the students she supported, the families she guided, and the colleagues who had the privilege of working alongside her. Thank you, Lisa, for 26 years of dedication to Franklin Public Schools. You'll be greatly missed, and we wish you a wonderful retirement.
Next is Keith Turner. As we recognize Keith Turner on his retirement, we thank him for his dedicated service to the students and staff of Franklin Public Schools. Since I began working with Keith at Remington in 2021, he's been known for his student-centered approach, professionalism, dedication to colleagues, and ability to bring levity and humor to even the most tense situations. Keith is an educator who never stops learning, reflecting, and striving to better meet the needs of his students. His impact on our school community will be felt for years to come. We are grateful for all Keith has given to Franklin Public Schools and wish him many relaxing days enjoying time out on his boat in retirement. Enjoy, Captain Keith.
Mr. Bucky.
And last but not least, we have Rob Baca, who's here tonight. If you walk the halls of Forest Bend Middle School, Annie Sullivan Middle School, or Franklin Middle School over the last 3 decades, you likely experience what makes Rob Baca special. Whether it was a thoughtful morning message, a Beatles song on a spirit day, or a meaningful conversation with a trusted colleague and friend. Today we celebrate Rob for 30 years of dedicated service to Franklin Public Schools as a teacher, mentor, advocate, and leader. As a social studies teacher, Rob helped students understand not just history, but humanity, perspective, and compassion. Beyond the classroom, he led meaningful days of remembrance programming as a Holocaust Fellow, mentored students through a World of Difference peer leader program, and created opportunities for students to connect with the Franklin Senior Center community. Colleagues knew Rob as someone who always showed up for others. Through his work as an active FEA member and building representative, he consistently supported and advocated for fellow educators. Rob's impact can be found in the countless students, colleagues, and community members whose lives he touched over the past 30 years. Congratulations on your retirement, Rob, and thank you for all that you've given to Franklin Public Schools.
Okay, Ms. Savage, are you up?
It is my honor to be here and speak on behalf of many across the district and thank Lisa Daly. Lisa is a highly skilled, meticulous, diligent, and deeply caring nurse who has been a trusted partner to families and their children, as well as a consistent source of support for administrators and staff. Over her 15 years in her role as school nurse, she has demonstrated unwavering dedication to student well-being. More recently, she expanded her impact by taking on the role of Director of Student Health Services for the district, further strengthening the systems and care that support all students from preschool to high school and beyond. Lisa has led her nursing team with great passion and commitment, and has developed trusting partnerships with medical professionals across the Franklin community in Massachusetts, especially helping to lead us through unprecedented medical times in our world's history. It has been an honor for me to work with Lisa for these past 15 years. I know there are many relationships that you hold dear, and you will keep in touch to check in. I speak for our administrative team and school communities when I say that you will be sincerely missed, and we wish you nothing but the best as you move forward.
Hello. Brad Hendrickson sitting here with Mrs. A. Mrs. A has been a public school teacher for 36 years. You don't have the shirt on, so I don't have stats. The last 32 have been here in Franklin Public Schools. The majority of her time is spent as a 4th grade teacher and leader in the Kennedy Elementary School. She has deeply impacted the lives of nearly 700 students and families during her time in the classroom. This is only my first year working directly with Mrs. A, but it's been a pleasure to see her in action. Her classroom is an interactive hub for curiosity and expression. Students take pride in who they are as scholars, and Mrs. A provides them opportunity to deeply understand the concepts they are studying with each other. When I asked Mrs. A, why 4th grade? She said, I think 9 and 10-year-olds are some of the best humans on the planet. It's amazing to watch a group go from single digits to double digits. 4th graders are caring, kind, funny, and reflective, and they are genuinely all-around good people. I love spending my days with them. And it's clear that so many people, young people, both those in your classroom and those who grew up just beyond it, felt just as lucky to spend their days with you, Mrs. A. Thank you for the care, joy, and lasting impact you brought for a generation of students. Now I'm going to read this for Kathy Doherty, who's not here. I told her it was a roast. I don't know why she didn't show up. But I'm still trying to get her back, so we'll see. I'll pull this back if she's ready. You tell me, Kathy. Over the past 20 years at Franklin, Kathy Doherty has made an extraordinary impact on the lives of students, serving as an ESP in the REACH program and as a librarian at Oak Street and Horace Mann. Kathy has always brought a unique blend of creativity, humor, and heart to her work. One of the very first things that Kathy told me when I started at Oak Street was she was probably the only librarian I'd ever meet who hated books. And honestly, that perfectly captured her wonderfully unconventional spirit. Kathy's passion lives more in the STEM side of the Media Center. This is where she helped expand and bring our makerspace to life for our students. But her true superpower has always been in relationships. Kathy has an incredible ability to connect with children, especially those with more complex needs. And she's able to become their person, the one they trust, rely on, and feel truly understood by. That kind of impact is impossible to measure, but it will be deeply felt long after her retirement. We are so grateful for Kathy's years of service and the countless lives that she has touched. Thank you.
Over here. All right, so my name's Evan Shulman. I'm the principal of Washington 3 to 5.
I'm Stephanie Wassick, principal of Washington K2.
And also on behalf of our assistant principals, Mrs. Friedman and Mrs. Harvey, who's here tonight. Tonight we're going to recognize and celebrate Carrie Richardson, who we get to share this year. Tonight we recognize and celebrate Carrie Richardson for her years of dedication and compassionate service to Franklin Public Schools as a school nurse. Carrie is someone who always will find a way to support a student in need. She's a tireless advocate, exceptional at connecting with families and connecting them with resources, always willing to go above and beyond to help others. In addition to caring for students each day, Carrie has taken on many leadership roles over the years, including serving as a union representative, CPR instructor, and Mass Child Grant Coordinator. Carrie is also a gifted teacher and mentor who loves sharing her passion for nursing with future generations. And you'll probably be at the senior project night tomorrow night too. I knew you would be. Her knowledge, dedication, humor, and heart have made a lasting impact on students, staff, and families alike. Congratulations, Carrie. Best wishes on a happy and well-deserved retirement. Hold on, I have to hug her.
Thank you so much. And I'm gonna hug her too.
All right, so moving on with Washington 3 to 5. Lauren Green, come on up. It's important to note that the three retirees this evening for Washington 3 to 5 or Washington K to 5 came, from Parmenter School, and we appreciate them saying, you know what, we're going to give this reorg thing 1 year. And we really relied on them for that, for real. Tonight we recognize and celebrate Lauren Green for her many years of dedication to Franklin Public Schools, including 25 years at Parmenter School before joining Washington 3 to 5 as an ESP. Lauren has always gone the extra mile for students and colleagues alike. She builds strong, meaningful relationships with students that help them grow in confidence and thrive. She's someone her coworkers know that they can always count on. Her upbeat attitude, positivity, and ability to bring joy to any situation has made a lasting impact in the school community. Lauren is also known for her thoughtfulness, often stepping up to organize celebrations and bring people together. While we will miss her greatly, we're excited for her as she looks forward to spending more time with her 3 young grandsons. Congratulations, Lauren, and best wishes on a wonderful retirement. To show how selfless she is, she felt bad that Mrs. Harvey and I had to be here tonight to read about her.
That's right.
So we'll move it along, I'm sorry. Okay. And then finally, from Washington 3 to 5, Jolene Cronin, come on. Tonight, we also recognize and celebrate Jolene Cronin for her many years of dedication to Franklin Public Schools, including 25 years at Parmenter School before joining Washington 3 to 5. Jolene is known for her incredible sense of humor, positive outlook, and ability to bring calm and laughter to even the most stressful moments. Her classroom balanced structure, warmth, and joy, which is the trick, right? That's the line we straddle, that helps students feel supported while developing a true love of learning. She's also known for her tremendous knowledge and willingness to share it with others in a way that always made colleagues feel valued and supported. She's also known for her tremendous amount of stuff, which we appreciated the move so that we could go through it. And now looking to share that with whoever's next up. Jolene has made a lasting impact on students, staff, and families. She will be deeply missed. Congratulations, Jolene. Best wishes on a well-deserved retirement.
So Stephanie Wasek, principal of Washington K2. Our first 2 retirees I don't think are here this evening, but the first, and I'm happy to speak on their behalf. The first is Karen Leanhouse, who we are excited to celebrate as she retires after many years of dedicated service in Franklin Public Schools. Karen joined Franklin in 2006 and has spent 16 years as an ESP, the last 4 of which have been as an ABA tutor in our NEC partner classroom at Parmenter and now Washington K2. Karen is known for her thoughtful support of students, her calm and caring presence, and for being an incredibly dedicated colleague and teammate. She has made a meaningful difference in the lives of so many students and staff members over the years, and she will be truly missed. As she begins this next chapter, we know she's looking forward to reading, going to the beach, and spending time with her husband and grandkids, no doubt proudly cheering them on from the soccer sidelines. We are so happy for Karen and wish her lots of joy, relaxation, and special family time in retirement. So congratulations to Karen. And next I'm going to skip to Tricia Constantine, who retired very early in the year, but we're recognizing her this evening, and we're happy to celebrate Tricia Constantine as she retires after 18 years in Franklin. Tricia served as a special educator, team chair, and Wilson teacher, always offering calm guidance and deep care. We wish her lots of lake time, which I know she's already been doing. We wish her lots of lake time, snowmobiling, and fun with her kids, especially as her littlest Grace moves on in her own elementary school journey. So congratulations to Tricia. And last but not least, we have Charlene Harn, who's here tonight. And we are so happy to celebrate Charlene Harn as she heads into retirement after 25 years supporting students and staff across many Franklin schools. Charlene has worn many hats over the years, serving as a library ESP at Kennedy, supporting students in the nurse's office at Jefferson, spending a year as Davis Thayer's secretary, and working as an ESP at both Jefferson and now Washington K2. Charlene also has plenty of unofficial roles, including ESP leader and union leader and mentor for ESPs, bathroom attendant, mahjong player, that's a new one, chaos coordinator, and sometimes even chaos starter. And here's what I'm going to maybe a bit of a roast and go a little off script, be a little irreverent, kind of like Charlene. So we will especially miss many of the classic Charleneisms, or as we say, Charleneisms, heard throughout the halls, including "get over here," which is quickly sometimes followed by "get out of here." Maybe a reason why she's retiring. It's hard to teach phonics when you can't pronounce your R's. And my, I don't know, sometimes most favorite, sometimes least favorite, yes, I am Mrs. Wasick. So through it all, Charlene clearly has brought laughter and honesty, energy, and just a deep sense of care to every single team she's been a part of. While we will miss her greatly at Washington K2, we know her most important and favorite roles are wife, mother, mother-in-law, and grandmother. And we're so excited for Charlene as she hangs up her Washington K2 hats, plural, and begins the next chapter filled with family, fun, and well-deserved relaxation. So congratulations, Charlene.
Okay, so that concludes our retiree recognition.
We have one more.
Oh, we have one more. I'm sorry.
I will speak for Kelly Hurley, who is one of our Solutions site directors. Kelly joined the Solutions team in the spring of 2019 and quickly stepped into a role that suited her exceptionally well. She became a valued member of the Jefferson and Keller programs and most recently concluded her time with us at the Washington Street K-2 program this fall. Kelly is a talented educator whose patience, kindness, and dedication to her students were evident in every interaction. She consistently created a supportive and positive environment for those in her care. Thank you, Kelly, for your commitment and contributions over the years. It has truly been a pleasure working with you. We wish you all the best.
I'd love if the principals could also join in the picture as well, who read tonight, or all of our principals that are here. Please come on up. And department heads and admin that read.
Amy.
Come on, Amy.
That's what they do. Get over here. Get her in. Hi. You say that. You say that. We're going to have to do 2 rows. Yep. Some folks can get in the front.
As some folks come up, all the folks that sit behind.
I had an opening, I thought.
There we go.
I can't.
We'll try.
I want an 8x10 gloss.
As long as you sign it, autograph it, have the lines diagrammed on the back. All right, ready? Smile. Everybody should be able to see. I think I can see everybody. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. That's good.
I'm out of here.
Don't go anywhere.
I thought we were, sorry, my bad.
No, ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you very
All right, everyone, thank you for your patience. All right, so moving right along, we're going to move into superintendent's evaluation, presentation of evidence.
Okay, great. As the projector screen warms up, Dr. Rogers, I'm very sorry. She did ask me, are you presenting? And I said no, but I meant to say yes, so that's my fault. So as that happens, I just will share, I provided my evaluation evidence last week on Friday to get a preview. I appreciate the questions I did receive and tried to answer the ones that came through. But ultimately, I'm pleased to present the evidence for the 25-26 school year. The report that I shared, it compiles evidence of the progress made towards the 4 goal areas that are part of this superintendent evaluation standards. So there's 4 areas in which I'm evaluated on, and they're very similar to the teacher rubric that has 4 areas: instructional leadership, management and operations, family and community engagement, and then professional culture is the 4th one. And then when we pair that, I crosswalked on the front page kind of how do our district goals align with those evaluation standards. So you can see where the aligned instructional practices was a goal for the district. When we did the district improvement, school improvement plan presentation last month, each of the departments and schools came up and shared evidence, which I've included some of that in this just for continuity around my goals for the district align directly to the district's goals, which are the school's goals and ultimately the leaders' goals. So if you look here, I can stand over there too. I can try. So the way it's organized, these are the practices I was just describing. These were our district improvement plan strategic objectives you may see and that may look familiar. And then ultimately, they're crosswalked to what evaluation standard I felt like it met. So that's the alignment piece. And then this year I added an executive summary that kind of tracks the bigger ideas that are happening across the district. So basically, if I was to only share this first page, it would be, okay, goal 1 was about strengthening our school, community, and team collaboration. So what we did is we created 5 school improvement plans, and we were able to build out our teams, the support teams that exist at every school and every level with the agendas and the student data. We were able to build out the FHS, the Franklin High School WIN block, fully implemented. And also looking at family engagement and looking at our offerings that we have for back to school night, some of the events that occur in the evenings, but then also the newsletter side of things that's happening not only from the school, but the district and the Office of Teaching and Learning in different departments. Moving on to the second goal, it's coherent systems. So the rest of this document details these much in more, and provides more detail, but ultimately preparing a complete budget book, which was publicly available, was one of our goals that has all the information in it from every cost center. Were we able to look at the hiring protocols and create revisions and finalize that, which you heard HR report out on that last month. Next is looking at our centralized system for investigations, administrative training as it relates to student behavior and whatnot. And then the framework, our MTS handbooks being developed at each school. Finally, as we move into the last 2 goals, the UDL professional development that was delivered throughout the year, there was evidence provided in some of those links that showed how that was delivered across our school at each level. The instructional walkthroughs, we visited over 200 plus classrooms, 200? Yep. That we tallied throughout the year across all pre-K through 12 schools. We were able to meet with each of those school-based teams as a district team and go through and debrief and come up with next steps and build our plan as we move forward of what are the instructional goals at each level and at each school. And then finally, we added the Snap mobile app for Franklin High, and also the instructional staff using the Securely feature for WinBlock, which is how students schedule themselves and how staff. So this is an at a glance, kind of big picture. And then as we move on, and I won't read every one of these, but basically wanted to provide just the context of the key actions, the process, and the outcomes were all approved by you in the fall. And what I did was separate out evidence. You may recall it was outcome/evidence in the fall. There was only 3 columns, and I've expanded just a 4th column that tried to pull in evidence from each of the areas that would show demonstrating having met that goal. As you move on to the measurable outcomes, this is a continued area of growth that we have continued to work on. I know that that was great feedback that I received not only from my evaluation last year, but also the school improvement and district improvement plans. We tried to add more measurable data. As we've picked up the entire district, moved it all around and landed, I feel like this is a year for us to collect and have baseline data that gives us the next step, but we're collecting it, and I wanted to share some evidence of where we've done that. You can click in some of the links to see that information for goal 1, for example. But ultimately try to provide some context for you. As you move on to systems, it's the same idea. Tried to bullet and provide a link that was one piece of evidence. I've also learned, I know as an evaluator myself, if I get 46 pieces, I almost prefer when people provide me 5 strong ones with a blurb of why it's important, and then if you need more, I'm happy to provide it, and if I need to, I'm happy to provide anything you need to help paint the clearest picture possible. And then I tried to put little, like in progress, monitoring, on track, for example. A great example of that would be the family surveys that went out for our pre-K through grade 8, because the high school had reorged, but they did a wind block survey, they did some other things. Parents were included on the AI surveys, and the calendar are examples of kind of a broader, but specifically, you may have received it as a parent, the survey that went out from your school that was collected, that's still open, and once that's closed, we will use that information. We'll provide and share an update of what were the outcomes of the parent survey, and then ultimately the real key piece is beyond my evaluation is what do we do with that information to plan for next year as we look to keep improving. That's the ultimate goal. You'll see that referenced when we present new goals next year as it relates to what we learned. We surveyed staff as well. In January, that was presented by each principal at every school with them on that data, and that's been included as well. So we're starting to build these pieces of how do we collect data, how do we create some baselines, and then also how do we inform our plans as we now have landed. What did everything we planned work out perfectly? No, but this is where we're getting these touch points to say, oh, what if we make some changes and recommendations? And I think that applies to goal 3. And then ultimately, goal 4 has a few more examples around just a communication strategy, and it ranges from newsletters to our website to the Panther app, and then any type of just communication that we've put out, materials we've put out for budget, anything that is used as a tool to inform. It's always a balancing act to try to provide as much detail as possible without kind of inundating, but ultimately try to capture that snapshot. And then at the end, you'll notice there's a glossary of key terms that just was laid out of terms that we use kind of frequently in education, but I wanted to make sure I provided them because if they weren't spelled out, I wanted to make sure you have that as well. So with that said, I'm happy to walk through it further if you'd like, or answer any questions, but I'm happy to do whatever's most productive and helps to clarify anything that I presented to you tonight. And I appreciate the support you've provided me by working with me to provide feedback on the goals that we set in October. That helped me to set an edge and a direction, and my team, we've worked really hard to work to follow through on those goals and work with our principals and our department heads to try to make sure that we're moving the district forward in productive ways. And I will say, as I step back from this document and the minutia of the details, I feel very proud of the work that's happening. I mean, to see the students that we have in front of you and the retirees, those are 2 examples of very high caliber professionals and students that are in our district that I'm very proud of, and I just would thank you for that, and I'm happy to answer any questions I can.
Excellent, thank you. So just for the committee's awareness, so we will be collecting over the course of the next week basically our feedback and thoughts under these different categories for the superintendent. Those will come to the superintendent evaluation subcommittee, and then we'll sit kind of a line and then be able to present that. We can all vote on our scoring, essentially of the same set of goals. So there will be an opportunity for that. I just say that now because if there is certain commentary or thoughts, you're welcome to express them here. You're also welcome to express them kind of as part of that overall process in more or less detail, really whatever suits you best. But I'll happily open it up to any questions anyone's going to have, to Lucas, any other comments, or anything else you might be looking at as we start going through that process. So, Steve, you want to start? Get back to you, Reese.
So I had sent Lucas some questions by email, which were answered. I'm uncertain whether it's helpful to review those things or whether my questions have been answered, and then it's just relevant for the next step of our process.
So personal preference, it's up to you. Usually what we do while we're reviewing our overall evaluation is we provide some of that specific feedback if necessary. Like we can basically, we'll take blurbs from individuals and incorporate that in, much like Lucas has for his evidence here. We'll be able to incorporate that into part of our commentary. And can either discuss it then during that vote, or you can discuss it now. Really, it's whatever you feel comfortable with, Reese.
I mean, I feel comfortable with it. I'm just trying to be mindful of everyone's time here. So rather than talk about the decision anymore, what I'll say is that I think I really appreciate how this document was organized and how this whole process was organized. I think it was really helpful to get the DIP and SIP reviews done and then move on to this because it kind of provided a lot of context for what we're looking at here. I appreciate the way that you've rated yourself on your progress on these items. I think the way you rated yourself aligns with, kind of makes sense in terms of what you've presented as the progress made from each item. And if anything, there are a couple areas where I felt like you weren't giving yourself enough credit. And so, yeah, I think those are all of my comments. Thank you for sharing the additional information over email about specific methods for measuring some of these outcomes, and I'll pass it to my colleagues.
Thank you, Reese.
I don't really have any questions. I also appreciated having sort of a baseline percentage associated to these things so we can see how that evolves and changes over time, and actually just having something to base that progress off of. I will say that I'm very curious to see what happens with the surveys that went out. I think that will really help lead us in a direction to see what's next, and sort of evaluating how the year really felt for all involved. And so I look forward to that information. Again, I don't have any questions. I think this was a very clear-cut way to evaluate all of the work that has been done.
I think the response rate percentage will be interesting. Once it closes, that will give us a great baseline for what percentage of families took that survey. So we have, I do think one question that you'd ask, Reese, was around the growth target we set, and one of the benchmarks was around increasing our response rates by 20%. So the question was really, like, where is that coming from? And the answer is, now that we have new schools, we don't have, I should have a response rate by school, but then as a district as well. And ultimately, we don't have that established yet. But, for example, I have a bunch of different examples that I emailed to Reese specifically, and I used examples of response rates this year that I didn't include in the document, but I will share with all of you as well. So the building use, it was, Colin had targeted recurring users, just a small example. And he had a 49% response rate to his group that he had emailed. Anyone who's ever rented or is typically using our facilities, for example. If we shift to the wind block, Dr. Weber had received 100% responses from staff and 55 from students, right, for the wind block surveys that she had put out. The Office of Teaching and Learning did an AI survey, you may recall, that went out to the district, and it was a 10% response rate from families and 32% response rate from our educators, our FEA, like our U Day. And then PD calendar, 27% response rates by families and 68% response rate from educators. And the K-5 survey I already said is still out. We don't know that data yet. And then ultimately the last one is Google Analytics to look at web traffic. Colin sent me something quickly before the meeting that said basically we're looking at about a 1% increase in website access from last year. Last year was also where people were diving in pretty heavily around reorg and budget and all that. Not that they're not looking at those things again, but I think we had a draw. So that's an interesting set of data. So I thought that was a good question. And I think this will now give us the anchor for the types of surveys that were highly responded. I'm really interested to know when did we do it? What was the topic? How long? Like so there's some interesting information there, but ultimately gathering data like this is really the start to how we can actually set meaningful targets. And I think that's something that I've heard you all share. Mr. Charles has shared it for multiple years. Mr. Giguere mentioned it recently this year as he's been on council, and you all have mentioned it to me in individual meetings when we've talked to provide feedback and planning. So I thought that was a good question, and it tied in with what you just mentioned as well. So we're aware, and I think we want to do do well in this area, but I think it's an area of growth that, as a district and as a leader, that I need to continue to work on.
I'll just add to say that I think the benefit of the survey could lead to additional surveys that are more targeted based on the responses that we get.
Right. Thank you. Good point.
So thank you for putting this together. I was just thinking back to like when you first started and how this is evolving. It's akin to like the budget process where we have one way and it's just evolved and grown and improved year over year. So thank you for the time that you put into this. Definitely appreciate that. I think it's a great example for not just us but families to see what you're doing and how we're improving the school district. I guess my question is, I guess of all these goals, what was the one that was the most challenging for you at all?
The budget's always a challenge. Thankfully, we have Ms. Bellotti leading that work directly, I think, but that's ultimately a lot of decisions have to be made thoughtfully with a lot of conversation and planning, and through the work and materials and budget workbooks and all. I have a lot of confidence in how we arrive at our budget because of the process that unfolds with such great care and detail. So that's always a challenge, but I think it's something that I feel as though we've built systems that support what we're delivering. So that's one I would mention. The other piece is just the most challenging. Someone told me this a long time ago, a superintendent retired, and he said, as you continue through your career when you become a superintendent, you have to spread yourself wide and touch every area, but you can't get into the depths that you once could in any one area. And I feel like the more I've progressed in my career, I find myself having to spread thinner but farther. So I think I miss some of the, I like to dive in the depth where I can, but bandwidth-wise, I think that's been something that is a challenge, is really wanting to do that. But I will say that's the beauty of having a team and having trusted leaders who can lead an Office of Teaching and Learning, a Student Services Department, a Finance Department, an HR Department, and you heard them all present on their goals. So that's an area I think that would be the most challenging.
No, I appreciate this. Once again, just great evolution through the years and just the growth. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for the detailed report. Like I mentioned this before as well, right? Outcomes need some kind of measurable numbers, like Nadia said.
Yeah.
And also, most of the goals are still marked as in progress. Is there a timeline that we have, say, are we going to do it? Because we are already end of the year. Are we going to do it this year or next year, or is it planned for next 5 years, 4 years? That timeline would be really helpful to see how we are progressing.
Sure.
Right now it's marked as in progress, but we assume that everything is good. So from a timeline perspective, especially on the climate and belonging, all of them are in progress. So I'm not sure if you are right, have some numbers associated to it. That's one thing. And also the walkthroughs that you mentioned, 200 classroom walkthroughs. Is there an outcome that we can see in evidence? So what was the outcome? Like, what kind of issues or what kind of process improvements that we were suggesting post those 200? 200 is a big number, right? So we can definitely have some kind of outcome. So that if you can highlight, that would be really helpful.
Sure. I'm happy to speak to it now, but I'm happy to provide you with an example. I can email all of you also a plan we put together. So I'll start with the in progress. I agree. I used the word on track if it meant that it was on pace to meet the end of year target, but I didn't want to be dishonest and say like the family survey is out, I'm monitoring that, but it's still open. So if I said it was met, I felt like that was going to cause confusion on, well, wait a minute, how can you have met it if you haven't? And I didn't want to lose credibility. So that's why it said on track. But I use the word on track just intentionally to say the work is underway and it's planned to meet the on-pace target for the end of the year. I do think the timing of when we do these in May, not all things are resolved until the end, but it's a really good point, and I'll keep that in mind as we set goals for next year. and then we can be clear about that. So that's one piece. The second piece, those 200 class visits. So just to give you a sense of how those work. Each school, we book throughout the month to go and meet with the leadership team at the Washington Street complex. And that is a K-5 meeting. And then we'll talk through what were the goals of the school improvement plan that you saw, the instructional pieces, and then what are our goals to go out and see. So sometimes it's we just did a PD on X, or all of our teachers are working on this in second grade. Whatever the target is, we'll look at that. We'll talk ahead of time. We have a look for tool often, or we have notes on what types of instruction. What does it look like when this is done well? And then we'll break off and we get assigned to different groups of teachers. So we'll do 3 or 4 teachers in a row. We get paired up. Oftentimes it'll be a district leader with a school leader. So 2 of us or 3, and we'll rotate into the classes. Then we come back and it's a debrief. And basically we'll sit and walk through what did everybody see, what was working, what wasn't. And it's less about who the teacher was, but what were the trends that we're seeing. Because these aren't meant to be like an observation of an individual about, Steve's doing it, Paul's not, you know what I mean? It's more about what trend did we see across a group of teachers. And then what we do is we take that, we start to tally that and look at how many times did this occur, what percentage of the people did we see, where did we not? And then they build out plans, and then what we do is after about 3 or 4 of those, we say we're not going in any classrooms on the 4th, 5th time that we do this. We're actually just gonna sit and digest every single of the last 4 or 5 sessions that we did and debrief and come up with what are the trends that we see. The principals then, we work with them to work up a draft. There's an email sent after every visit, but ultimately, what was the summary of this, this batch, this quarter of visits? What were the highlights? What were the areas that we want to see us continue to improve upon? And then part of it is, okay, well, we have PD coming up, or we have team-based meeting times. Are these areas in which we can look at that particular practice and try to highlight it, try to clarify it? And that happens not only at the elementary, but the middle and the high school as well. Did I miss anything, Dr. Rogers?
I can certainly. This is like one of those in mile wide, inch deep.
Yeah.
Do you want a little bit more, like one actionable example? I can help to just. So one actionable piece is, as Mr. Giguere said, when we'll do these walkthrough, we'll look for trends. We pull all those trends together. So if we're doing, I'm going to give you an elementary example. We're doing K-5 Lincoln, K-5 Washington separate leaders in those buildings, but then we'll look across that and say, what are the trends? So one of the mid-year moments of reflection was, we've invested a lot in our curriculum, in K-5 literacy and K-5 math. Now, and that looks largely similar, or similar experiences for students across, but there's, in some pockets, curriculum is being utilized in different ways. And so as we look at these trends and as we look at data, what do we want? What does that look like across? So we're saying Franklin Public Schools, every student in second grade will experience what? And what support might teachers need? So from that, those conversations, the principals, curriculum specialists, and directors, Eric Stark and Lizzie Morrison, met with every K-2 teacher during a half PD day to elicit this is what we've seen, let's get your input in this process of curriculum implementation, instructional pedagogy within the classroom, and what do we want to say is something that we're saying as Franklin Public School second grade student, this is what every student can experience. These are some options of what might be kind of a menu of options for teachers, but we can confirm like everyone's doing this. And so they worked on that half day, they took that information back, reworked that with a smaller base team, then went to common professional time, and now at the end of this year, we're gonna have I don't wanna like misquote or misname, but K-5 literacy look-fors, or curriculum, I don't wanna like scare people, K-5 literacy curriculum implementation guidance for both math and literacy. So then now what's that?
I'm just kidding.
Not mandates. But this has been like So all teachers have been involved in this, but that was born straight from these instructional leadership team meetings, and that's just one example. There's examples at the middle and high too, but I would just, like, that's one actionable piece that we're now able next year to have very specific look-fors and measures that are aligned with what we all as a school community say that this is what, curriculum instruction looks like in grade 4 math.
So technically the walkthroughs have a feedback loop.
Yes.
And the feedback loops get into an action, and I believe that goes into the DIPs are basic.
Yes, yes it does. So next year when we propose specific instructional goals, we'll reference that we did these 200 walkthroughs last year, and outcome of that was X, and that's why it's become a goal. But they're already starting to work to implement those.
We actually already have the goal developed.
Right, that goal's well underway for next year. So yeah, that's a great, thank you for clarifying. I could have just said that, I think.
Yeah, I was just trying to say, if you can aspect those goals which came out of this process, that would be really helpful to see. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the way this is all kind of presented. Al mentioned the growth is fantastic. Just actually last week, Dave McNeil sent me a picture of some of the stuff that we had from our first year with Dr. Ahern. Night and day difference, and I'm very grateful you color coded it for us and spelled it on there. And just kind of more for the committee, the Mass General Law, they kind of create school committees itself. The hiring and evaluation of the superintendent is the very first thing. And so, it's such an important tool and responsibility that we all kind of have. And I'm always excited, when we got to get to this stage to kind of go and put pen to paper all the stuff that I normally just talk about, and to actually kind of say, here's the exact way that, I'm seeing you and the way that I'm kind of evaluating the progress that you do for the district. And something else too, just maybe more for the evaluation subcommittee. But I remember we had a couple of years ago, Tracy Novick from MASC came and said that school committees do have the opportunity to weigh certain evaluation criteria. So, one might be weighed a little bit more heavily than another one. And to her knowledge, no school committee in Massachusetts has yet to do that. Franklin being the first of many, I think it would be a fantastic time if maybe that's something that we do and take one of these and weigh it a little bit more.
This is the guy who doesn't have to do it.
That's 100% right. All I got to do is answer a Google form. So, but Lucas, thank you very much for all that you do and for putting this together.
Thank you.
So thanks, Dave, for the assignment. Didn't realize we were taking home assignments. But I really appreciate how you put all this together. My ask is actually more so in the long term. So a lot of these different points have target values, greater than 90%, less than 5%, greater than 80. I think those are very helpful, and seeing that they're on track or in progress is good. What I'd love to see kind of coming out of this is in the fall when we go through targets, if we can have actual numbers put there, because I think it does a couple of things. So first off, when you're saying, great, in progress, well, if it's greater than 80% and you finished off at 92, well, in progress, that gives us kind of that benchmark of you weren't hoping for 80, you were probably at or well past it by the time we had this discussion, and it set a good target. It's not to say that we have to constantly up the stakes, but I think it also helps the school committee to understand and make sure that these are reasonable requests, where if it's greater than or equal to 80% on any given target and you're hitting right at 80, we need to make sure that we're evaluating it so we're not setting the overall group up to fail. But if it's also something where it's greater than 80 and you're 98%, well then maybe we can kind of move that needle a little bit to make sure that it's, I think, a persistent but reasonable challenge. Because I think that's, everyone always wants to make sure that it's not just a rubber stamp. And I think, we've definitely seen that, at least since I've been here, where there's a lot of, I think, pushback on individual comments and then a lot of great commentary from the school committee. And I'd love to be able to continue to kind of evolve and use these stats in a very meaningful way as we go forward. I think you already have the framework there. It's just kind of closing that loop and finishing it off, where you can actually say, great, here are the readouts at the end. And I know that that's timing-wise is tricky for the evaluation itself. But again, when it comes time to set the new goals, I think it'll be very helpful. Awesome. All right, thank you.
Just, can I make one last comment? Just thank you for the initial feedback. Look forward to the feedback from the evaluation. But also, just this is a reflection of the work of a whole group of people. I think if you, I know that you did, if you dive deep into these examples of evidence, they're down to teachers meeting regularly, as an example. There are leaders who are leading their departments, our principals, our department heads, our district. So it's a representation, even though it's my evaluation and my responsibility to lead. I will say a lot of the work gets done. And I do think for you as a school committee, when you're at the farmers market on a Friday and you're talking about the goals and what did we accomplish this year as a district, I think it's a collective. So that's my mindset and mentality on that. So if we say we implemented a win block at our high school, yeah, I don't think it's misrepresenting. I don't think anyone's going to think that you actually implemented that, but you were part of the team that approved that goal as a school improvement goal and then provided the support and resources through the votes that you've taken and the support that you've given along the way. So I just think about that in the collective of like we're all on this team trying to move this district forward in a positive direction. And with just the kids and the caliber of staff that we saw tonight are great examples of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. This is getting back to other seats. We'll go ahead and move into citizens' comments. So are there any citizens in the audience, in person or online, who would like to comment on an item that falls within the committee's purview?
Instead of walking back, if I may. Steve Sherlock, Community, Steve Sherlock, 13 Magnolia Drive, Community Information Director, Franklin Matters, Franklin Public Radio. Thank you for your comments at your last meeting. I believe it was the joint meeting with the council, which I did catch up on, because yes, I was away. And try to keep that kind of quiet, and hopefully those, at least newsletter subscribers, didn't notice a drop off other than the live meeting notes, et cetera, were not done. It'll take me a little bit to catch up on all of the other pieces that I missed in the meantime, but as I think you have helped reinforce with the students and the school opportunities, travel is a great experience, great learning opportunity, getting to different places, getting that first view, your eyes get opened, there's different perspectives. I could go on forever, but I'm not going to. So thank you for your recognition of my absence in the meantime, and thank you all for your continued devotion to the students. Clearly, we saw the student recognitions tonight. We saw the teacher recognitions for the retirees. There's an awful lot going on. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, we'll go ahead and move into discussion action items for the evening. Item A, please.
Okay, item A is policy review, IMG therapy emotional support dogs. That is up for first reading tonight, and then to put to vote to you for second reading. Basically, this is a new policy to us that's been reworked. I'm going to let Dr. Rogers expand on this one, and then I'll read the recommendation after her explanation to open it up to all of you. Does that sound like a good plan? Okay.
So feel free to chime in. So in front of you is former ID emotional support dogs, which we're recommending to be moved to IMGB therapy and emotional support dogs. ID is an MASC current policy, school days. So in order to ensure that if we want to kind of use that policy, that we're naming this appropriately. There is no current MASC policy of this, but there are other communities that do have this policy, and it's named IMGB. So just for context of naming there. There's no real major shifts here, but the premise of this was there are a few staff members at the high school who feel as though it could be beneficial to have therapy and emotional support dogs in the school if it is approved by the superintendent and the building principal, and that the superintendent has sole discretion at any point in time, because anything could happen to then deny that policy. So you see the notes there in front of you, the edited notes. Much of this was really an organizational structure where the second page there, we made a new section, required documents, because that was embedded previously in the protocol section of this policy, and then we created the new subheading, rules while on school grounds, and you can see the minor tweaks there. So not overly and above, but really just kind of giving that sole discretion to superintendent. Also, in the 4th paragraph there, we thought it was important to name, and this actually came from teachers at the high school that recommended this edit, but that if we were to have an emotional support or therapy dog on premises, that it is in alignment with the district and school mission. So not only in alignment with learning strategies and educational programming, but also in line with the district and school mission. So beyond that, the edits there were kind of just shifting some things around and giving kind of more structure and guidance to the process of getting approval. So that's that.
Okay. So I'll read the recommendation and open it up for you to discuss. So I recommend moving policy IMGB, therapy/emotional support dogs, to a second reading as discussed.
There's a motion. That is a motion regarding first reading for policy IMGB, moving to a second reading. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Excellent. Motion and second. Any discussion or questions?
Is it just the emotional support dogs or any other animals? Because I see in some places it mentioned as other emotional support animals.
So at this point, our recommendation is therapy and emotional support dogs. Yeah.
And just to get clarity, so this is something students bring in, or we are going to own it in school as a classroom?
That's a great question. The way the policy is written is that it would be a staff member who has an emotional support or therapy dog that's trained. It takes you through the list of all the documentation we need, and then that the handler of that dog is also a school employee.
Mm-hmm.
So the owner of the emotional support dog has to be a Franklin Public School employee, and the handler has to be a Franklin, and that could be different people, could be the same, but that person is employed by the Franklin Public Schools, is the way this policy is written.
It's not a new position or anything, like the existing staff members are going to own this role.
Yes, if they so choose to bring in a support dog, yes.
Thank you.
Yep. And then just the type of animal was something that came up in policy, and the American with Disabilities Act, we looked into it, and at this moment, ADA just explicitly states dog as well.
Anything else from anybody? I have just one thing. It's somewhat asinine at the moment, but looking down at the second from last page, we have all the enumerated requirements. Just one thing that reads a little off, that very first point, the emotional support dog must be obedient, calm, and affectionate, and friendly. Just removing that first and. Outside of that, I think it's a really good way to clear things up. I know it's a lot of cross-outs, and it looks like a ton, but it's really just condensing and making things very clear. So I appreciate those efforts.
So procedurally, if you vote to move this to second reading, we would provide an updated version with the line out, so you'd see a cleaner version next meeting. If there's no feedback on anything here, that's what we would do, just for a process. Okay.
All right. So seeing no further discussions, vote will come to the motion. All those in favor? We will be doing roll call vote because Ruth Ann is online. Thanks, Dave. Okay, so going through things. Ruth Ann?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Nadia?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
And yes, myself. All right, motion carries.
Next, the annual appointment for BICO. I serve on the BICO Board of Directors as your appointed board member. Every superintendent who is a part of the BICO organization is there, and we make up that team. This is an annual vote that's taken. So I recommend the appointment of Superintendent Lucas Giguere as the Franklin Public Schools representative to the BICO Board of Directors for the 26-27 school year as discussed.
So we have a motion to appoint Superintendent Lucas Giguere as the Franklin Public Schools representative to the BICO Board of Directors for 2026, 2027. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion or questions?
Has there ever been a time in which Franklin was not represented on this board by the superintendent?
No, as far as I know, and we have to have, there needs to be a representative to be a part of the Biconic Collaborative for their, and you have to be on their board. And to my knowledge, it's always been the superintendent of schools, which is customary for every district that's part of it. So I don't know that we've ever had someone different or not been represented since we've been there.
Very good, thank you. Any questions? No. All right, seeing none, the vote will come to motion by roll call. Ruth Ann?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Nadia?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Dave?
Yep.
Myself, yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. So for your discussion only, in your packet, there are two monthly financial reports. Well, one is the monthly financial report for the district, and the second is the Accept Collaborative, which is the other collaborative we're part of. They've provided their third quarter report. I'm happy to take any questions.
Do we have any questions or comments from the committee? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to
Information matters. So superintendent evaluation, we're finally at that time of the year. So we will be sending out a Google form requesting feedback to the committee, and then collating that, I'll send out a time to discuss with the committee, and then we'll be presenting our findings. The current plan is at the next school committee meeting. So it'll be kind of a short turnaround on this. But if there are any questions or comments, feel free to reach out. The committee members will be coordinating for timing, whether it's going to be something on Zoom for everyone's schedule or in person. Okay. Any questions about that? No. Budget. So the budget subcommittee has not met recently. However, we have gone through the budget hearing process with the town. I really appreciate all the collaborative effort and commentary from the town councilors. And I think it was a really great continued representation of the coordination between both the school and the town. A lot of kind of interesting approaches to what we have before us, but do appreciate that. I think there was really a lot of investment in asking questions and really kind of working towards the best approach for the schools and looking at the schools as part of the town as a whole. So really wanted to kind of shout that out and say our thanks to the town council for a really good, I think, informative public hearing for us. So for policy?
We have our next meeting on June 9th.
Community relations, Al?
Yep, we had met last week to talk through strawberry stroll planning. So we finalized the calendar for this year, so that's going to be ordered and be ready to go. Drop it off to the central office for their magnets. Nadia has also been working on a school committee shirt for us to wear, so you think y'all will enjoy it. Yes, your picture's right on the front, yes. Once I hear from Downtown Partnership around timing, I'll send out the form for us to reserve times for coverage. We'll have the meeting posted like always, so we can have more than 3 people there. But we can have, book for an hour or two, whatever you can do that day. And then that's it.
Excellent, thank you. Horace Mann Legacy, Dave?
A lot of fun stuff. Let's see. So first, we had, I think so, he was on for a little while, but Colin, the IT department. There's now Horace Mann at franklinps.net. It's an actual live email account where as we start to kind of expand and kind of reach out with different ideas to the community, you'll be able to provide input and an email directly into Horace Mann. That'll kind of then be shared out with the rest of the subcommittee. Also, I can't recall if I had mentioned this previously, but we voted on the revolving account a little while ago, and then now Unipay, thanks to Jonna, we have that live link where folks can kind of go and make direct donations right to the Horace Mann Legacy Subcommittee. There's already a balance in there, which is fantastic to hear, and hopefully we'll kind of start to see more contributions go on in moving forward. And then on that note as well, we've been in talks with Corey Shea, who's putting on the FIFA, the World Cup fan zones. And she had offered the Horace Mann Legacy like a community booth during some of those events in exchange because we're broke and we can't afford the fee, it'll just be some volunteer hours. And so we're kind of looking into that to see where that might stand. And then we got couple of dates coming up. The campus design team is doing a walk around tomorrow at 4:30, just on the actual grounds themselves, ECDC, middle school and high school, just to kind of come up with some inspiration. This coming Friday at 12:30, there's a team captain's check-in. Because again, just with the Horace Mann Legacy, because we have 17 people total, that it's kind of broken up into different teams: education and design, campus design, education storytelling, and public outreach. And so we're kind of having a quick check-in this Friday at 12:30 with the leaders of those groups, just to kind of see where everyone's going. And then June 8th at 7 p.m., we have the next full meeting for the Horace Mann Legacy Subcommittee.
Excellent. Thank you for all the information. Joint PCC, Nadia?
Yep. We don't have any scheduled meetings for the rest of the year, but I do have some updates. Board assignments are just about complete at most of the schools. However, the middle school is looking for incoming 6th grade chairs, so if anybody's interested in filling a board position at the middle school for your upcoming 6th grader, reach out to the FMS PCC. Just some events coming up. Again, there are many. ECDC has a fun fair on June 22nd at Oak Street. At Lincoln Street, the 4th grade has a Power of Light programs event from June 3rd to June 5th. The end of year celebration is June 10th from 5 to 7 at Franklin High School. K through 2 field day is June 8th. 3 through 5 field day is June 16th. Volunteer spots are open, so if you're interested in volunteering for field day, please check the sign up genus. On 6/18, 5th graders are visiting the middle school. On the 23rd is the 5th grade dance, and on the 24th is the 5th grade move-up ceremony, the breakfast, and yearbook signing. For Washington Street, there's a laser show on May 28th. The end of year beach party is June 4th. Field day is June 12th. And the 5th grade move-up ceremony is June 16th from 9 to 10:30. At the middle school, field days are for 6th grade on the 8th, 7th on the 11th, and for 8th grade on the 15th. They are also looking for volunteers and equipment donations like cornhole boards. So check the Need to Know newsletter to sign up for that. They could really use help. And the 8th grade dance is June 23rd, which was just moved. The date was moved, so check your calendars for that. And that's 6:30 to 8 p.m. The breakfast is June 25th, and the step-up ceremony will be held by team on June 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. I think that is it.
Thank you very much. School wellness and mental health. Reese?
So SWAC's done for the year till September. Mental health's last meeting of the school year is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in Franklin High. Don't remember the room number. So we'll leave that in.
Excellent, thank you. All right. So moving in, consent agenda, couple items.
I recommend approval of the minutes from your April 14, 2026 revised and May 12, 2026 school committee meeting as detailed. I recommend the acceptance of $1,000 from Claudia Brennick for in-house enrichment at FHS as detailed.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as detailed?
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Do we have any questions or discussion? All right. Seeing none, vote will come in a motion. Motion vote will be by roll call. Ruth Ann?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Nadia?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Dave? Yep. And yes for myself. Motion passes. All right, new business?
Okay, new business. So next meeting will be the superintendent evaluation report out. In addition, we have the budget vote. Dr. Griffith shared kind of up to date of the budget hearings. The next meeting is for the town council is on June 10th, which is when they'll vote on their budget for the year. With that said, we have a meeting on June 9th, which is our next meeting. So any information updates that we can provide in preparation for that meeting, I'll be sure to pass along to you all in real time, but ultimately that would be a meeting that we have before in case there are any needs or things that we need to talk about or consider. The second thing I just would mention, we had a very collaborative, productive meeting today with the town administrator and the town finance department, with the school business administration department, and Dr. Rogers to just talk through the budget as they prepare. There will be preparatory documents that are always provided prior to the vote, so we'll continue to keep you up to speed on some of the decisions made for that budget because of the feedback from the last meeting and during the hearing. That's how those documents are being prepared. As you can watch publicly, you can see how that kind of played out. So we'll continue to keep you posted on things as they happen, but ultimately those are the next two key dates. Is June 9th for us as a school committee with the things that I mentioned, and in addition, will be June 10th for you.
Thank you. Okay, any questions?
And so, Luke, just to kind of understand, if on June 10th, if there's a change up or down on like line item 300, would then the school committee come back in to vote on the difference on the updated budget?
Yes, thank you for asking the question. So basically, if a change or if there's any amount different than what you voted on to approve, we would need to come back together to vote on what we would appropriate based on a different number. So if a different number comes in that's adjusted, you all oversee the budget, so you ultimately make decisions on how we would apply funds, plus or minus in any capacity. That's in your purview as a school committee to determine kind of the details of where money goes, but the overall budget, the town council appropriates a set amount to us. So yes, if there is a change, it would need to come back to you, and then you would need to vote on how we would appropriate the funding number that we are provided. Does that make sense? Thank you for asking.
Perfect. No, that's great. So I'll just kind of make sure. I'm sure we'll communicate, and I know
Sure.
sometimes we've done this virtually or what have you.
And I did mention that at town council meeting. It did come up in a different form, but I basically said something very similar to that school committee has purview and oversight over how we apply funding. But ultimately, the big number, or the number for the total budget is appropriated by the town council.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
I don't have questions on that, but I just have new business. Just a quick thing. I was on the public school website this weekend, and I just stumbled on the parent communications toggle under, I think it's under community. It links to a Remington PCC page. So there's no updated information, so.
You found the Easter egg. Congratulations. You're the 0.8% that's increasing the viewership of our website. No, if we could talk online, we'll make sure that we fix that. Thank you for pointing that out. Ready Player One.
All right, any other questions or anything? Excellent. All right, so now we'll be moving to executive session. So we will be adjourning to executive session and will not be returning to an open meeting pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 213, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on bargaining or litigation position of the public body and the chair so declares. Do we have a motion?
So
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, consistent like that. Vote will come to the motion. Roll call vote. Ruth Ann?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Reese? Nadia?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Dave? Myself, yes. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We are now producing this in collaboration with Franklin TV and Franklin Public Radio. This podcast is my public service effort for Franklin, but we can't do it alone. We can always use your help. How can you help? If you can use the information that you find here, please tell your friends and neighbors. If you don't like something here, please let me know. Through this feedback loop, we can continue to make improvements. And I thank you for listening. For additional information, please visit franklinmatters.org. If you have questions or comments, you can reach me directly at suresteve@gmail.com. The music for the intro and exit was provided by Michael Clark and the group East of Shirley. The piece is titled Ernesto Mañana, copyright Michael Clark and Tintype Tunes in 2008, and used with their permission. I hope you enjoy. By the way, you can also subscribe and listen to Franklin Matters Radio on your favorite podcast app. Search in podcasts for Franklin Matters.